So I'm assuming that this first track, I see it's 57 seconds long. Let's just listen to the first track and go into track 2.
I think I maybe have heard this V.A.N song, track 2, but I don't. We'll see.
Yeah, this is their big song that they've been pushing for a while, and this, as far as I remember, is the one that features Poppy. V.A.N. It's V.A.N. So apparently the term V.A.N stands for something I don't know.
Right.
What? I probably don't want to know.
It is an initialism.
Yeah, I don't want to know, probably.
Actually, it might be an acronym because it's also still a word.
We drive a van. 2x4.
Edit that. We drive a van.
Mr. Black.
Mr. Black. Yes. Love that you made that reference.
I know. Well, you got me understand. I've told you the wrestling Simpsons crossover is very strong, and I'm starting to understand some Simpsons things from watching all the Botchamania videos.
That's fantastic.
Okay, so track 1, C Project /CJ OST /Beat Death, which is hilarious. You ready?
Yep.
In 3, 2, 1. I'm really curious about the production quality of this. Is it going to be less than, because they didn't... Their last album they put a lot of effort into during the pandemic, and they did it all themselves, I believe. So I'm curious how these new songs are going to sound.
If they did it all themselves, I'm going to say that these will sound just as good.
They should.
There's no way. Like, there's not going to it's not going to be able to be ruined by another person. Like, if they put that much work into their previous album themselves, that they did it because they wanted to sound.
I would think that, but I've heard Led Zeppelin 4. So I have no faith in a band ever recording themselves, no matter how big or popular they are.
I love it. Never stop hating that album.
Oh, I won't. Okay, here we go.
There it is, Violence Against Nature.
Yep. Oh, V.A.N. I hate nature so bad. I want all the violence towards it.
Isn't it strange to create something that hates you?
This is good stuff.
Oh. It sounds more rock and less electronic. Even these elements, which are fine. The drums are more contained in the middle. Dude, Poppy can do no wrong.
Correct.
Except for when she does wrong, like her last album that wasn't very good in my opinion.
That album's so good. That album's so good.
I know you keep listening to it and telling me that. It's better than we thought it was. Ooh, that's cool.
That's good.
That's cool.
That's real good.
Chris Schoenberg would hate this.
Good. She's going very tattoo in this.
Oh. Yeah, yes, that's a good call. I'm surprised he hasn't sung at all.
Yeah, I think it's just her.
Wouldn't that be cool if every song would just featured a different vocalist?
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if we heard that.
Everyone hates you.
Ooh.
Good.
We're getting to some spirit box here.
Man, oh man.
Now there's Bad Omens.
This is such a perfect combination.
Yeah.
God.
And I love the fact that it's 4:30, the length. It's not some 2 minutes and 57-second long song. Yeah.
Oh, man. Good luck topping this.
Violence against nature. Violence against nature.
Oh, that's cool. That sweeping synth part.
Against nature. Violence against nature.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I love the wiping off of the one that's there to put another one back on.
Oh, they need to feel the sting of defeat.
You gotta get a fresh line.
They need the fresh sting of defeat.
I have heard
Okay.
2 new Poppy singles,
Okay.
and this explains them.
Oh. Okay.
It is the heaviest that she's ever been. Both of them are.
Okay.
However, this I'm talking about something that is not relevant to this, but I did find them to be a little bit lacking in Poppy personality. They sound almost derivative as a result of that. But anyway, this is fantastic.
See, I agree. I do think that everything in this was really cool. It did almost feel like they were like, Poppy, record us some vocals and just send it to us and we'll build a song around it, rather than setting the vocals to like the crafted music already. You know what I mean? It almost felt like a remix of a song.
All right, yeah, I can dig that.
Like it just kind of felt like sort of 3 different parts. And then what they did to extend the song a little bit more was like, okay, let's take this part that we had over here and we'll just copy and paste it over here, but we'll take the drums out. And now that's how songs are made, just in general. But to me, I did get a bit of a feel of that, like, if you're like, if someone just sent you tracks and they're like, make a remix out of this, and you crafted something around the vocals rather than it being the other way, where both things were kind of written in harmony together. So I do feel that it was a little bit disparate feeling, but just a tiny bit. And I do feel like there were enough parts of that song. I don't really know what the chorus of it was. I guess that opening part where she was doing the violence against nature part. But then I feel like every time she repeated that vocal line, it was over different music, which I think is maybe one of the reasons that I feel that way about it.
Oh, sure.
Like they just kind of were like, it seemed like it was kind of generic vocal lines that didn't have a lot of singing to them. It was just violence against nature. Like, it's very simple, right? And then the music is basically, there was really pretty much only one guitar note played that whole time, and it was just, it was just, and then it was just like, right, patterns of the lowest note you can play on the guitar, however they had it tuned. And that's fine. That's how a lot of music is made nowadays. And that is one of the things that Bad Omens has done. However, I will say I do think that on The Death of Peace of Mind, one of the things that really did impress me was the sort of musicality aspect of everything that they were doing. And none of it felt lazy to me. And I don't want to say that this song felt lazy, but I do feel like it was missing something that was special and was there in every one of the songs on their album. But again, this is kind of like an EP thing, so it's like maybe we're comparing apples to oranges a little bit. Who knows? Mm-hmm. And I
just as
sorry, go ahead.
I would say maybe at the very least you could say it feels a little less inspired.
Maybe that's a good way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, just in the sense that like it is relatively repetitious. I suppose, especially in the vocal. I think that I could definitely agree with the idea that they had this collaboration set up and they, gave her some sort of musical direction, almost like a storyboard kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where it's like, here's your basic structure for how this is going to be composed, and from like, chords and stuff perspective. She gave a vocal that fit it, and then they threw it onto this and then did a bunch of stuff to it.
Yeah.
And that she wasn't actually part of the process, which, I mean, it's cool. I got nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and a lot of...
But it does, I get that feeling. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, and a lot of music is made that way nowadays. I will say it's very cool that, and one of the things that impressed us both, and I think we already said this with Death of Peace of Mind, was the fact that they didn't feel pressured to make the songs metal songs. Like they felt fully comfortable to have 3/4 of a song be just a straight up electronic song, and then have the last fourth of the song be the metal part. So that tells me that right there that they're approaching it from the mindset of someone who's like, we are not going to be tied down by like constraints of what we're doing here. And that shows here even more because that was a Bad Omens song that did not feature the Bad Omens singer at all.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
like they've almost got their like Bad Omens, the production house, like Röyksopp, or any of those electronic artists who have no permanent vocal, and they are producers like Daft Punk, for example, who does stuff like that.
Yeah, and maybe that's another reason it felt like a remix to me almost because it's like
that makes sense.
We'll
I will say, all of this being said, however negative any of it might sound, I can think of nothing better in the whole world than an entire album of Bad Omens with Poppy. Like,
I know, right? I would
it
like
hit so well. It hit so good, and it just sounded. Oh, it's exactly what I want.
I would have liked to hear them sing together, but
sure,
it's still cool the way that it was. And that part in the middle where it was like her screaming and it was just vocal, like they were doing
distortion and jittering and like
oh, and I should say too, I loved the intro track too, where it was just sort of like vocal takes, just like manipulated and stutter edited and stuff.
Yeah.
And then that's what they did, that sort of same style with Poppy's like screaming vocals during that like big breakdowny part of the song. So I really appreciated that. And as soon as the song started and I heard that metal part, I was like, okay, this sounds a little bit more traditional metal than the stuff on Death of Peace of Mind, which did feel very produced, and I don't say that in a bad way at all. This just felt a little bit more like a band. The cymbals and everything felt a little bit more real. And I'm sure it was made the same way that the other stuff was, but I felt it was contained a little bit more rather than being so enormous. But I also think that was not necessarily to the detriment of the song. I do think it still sounded phenomenal. So